Have you ever stood in a place where time seems to have frozen? Where the whispers of the past are carried on the wind, telling stories of lives once lived, of civilizations that rose and fell. Today, we're embarking on a journey to Earth's most hauntingly beautiful silent ruins, places abandoned by humans, now reclaimed by nature, holding secrets within their crumbling walls. Our first stop takes us to the eerie, deserted streets of Pripyat in Ukraine. Once a bustling city of nearly 50,000 people, it was evacuated overnight following the Chernobyl disaster in 1986. Imagine waking up one morning, told to leave everything behind, expecting to return in just a few days. But those days turned into decades. Now, Pripyat is a ghost town, a chilling time capsule of the Soviet era. School books lie open on desks, toys are scattered in kindergarten classrooms, and the iconic Ferris wheel, which never once carried a happy child, stands as a silent monument to a future that never was. Walking through these empty apartment buildings, you can almost hear the echoes of laughter, conversations, and daily life abruptly silenced. Nature is now the sole resident, with trees growing through floors and wildlife roaming the desolate streets. It's a powerful, somber reminder of the consequences of human error and the relentless, healing power of the natural world. From the cold of Eastern Europe, let's travel to the sun-scorched deserts of Namibia, to a place called Kolmanskop. At the turn of the 20th century, this was one of the richest towns in the world. Why? Diamonds. German miners flocked here, building a luxurious oasis in the middle of the unforgiving desert. They had a hospital with the first X-ray machine in the southern hemisphere, a grand ballroom, a theater, and even an ice factory. It was a pocket of European opulence, thriving on the glittering stones pulled from the sand. But as the diamond supply dwindled, the town's fortune faded. By the 1950s, Kolmanskop was completely abandoned, left to the mercy of the desert winds. Today, sand dunes have swallowed the once elegant homes. You can walk through rooms where the sand reaches halfway up the walls, pouring through doorways and broken windows like golden waterfalls. It's a surreal, almost artistic scene, a testament to how quickly fortune can turn and how nature always reclaims what is hers. The sand has preserved the town while simultaneously consuming it, creating a ghost town unlike any other. Now, let's set sail to a small island in the East China Sea, just off the coast of Nagasaki, Japan. Hashima Island, more commonly known as Gunkanjima or Battleship Island because of its shape, was once the most densely populated place on Earth. In the late 19th and 20th centuries, it was a bustling undersea coal mining facility owned by Mitsubishi. Thousands of workers and their families lived packed into massive concrete apartment blocks, creating a vertical city on this tiny rock. They had their own schools, shops, and hospitals. Life was hard, but it was a community. However, as petroleum replaced coal in the 1960s, the mine's fate was sealed. In 1974, Mitsubishi closed the mine, and the island was evacuated in a matter of weeks. The residents left behind a concrete jungle, a maze of decaying buildings battered by typhoons and the relentless sea. Exploring Gunkanjima today is like stepping into a post-apocalyptic movie set. You see personal belongings, an old television set, a child's shoe left exactly where they were dropped nearly 50 years ago. The silence is profound, broken only by the crashing waves and the creaking of rusted metal. It's a stark, powerful symbol of Japan's rapid industrialization and the human cost that came with it. Our next destination takes us deep into the lush Cambodian jungle, to the sprawling temple complex of Angkor. While places like Angkor Wat are world famous and meticulously maintained, other temples within the ancient Khmer capital have been left to the embrace of the jungle. Tar Prom is perhaps the most famous example. Here, gigantic silk cotton and strangler fig trees have woven their roots through the ancient stones. Massive, serpentine roots cascade over walls, pry apart galleries, and framed doorways, creating a breathtaking fusion of architecture and nature. It feels less like a ruin and more like a living sculpture. This wasn't an abrupt abandonment like Pripyat or Hiroshima. The decline of the Khmer Empire was gradual, a slow retreat over centuries, allowing the jungle to creep back in, stone by stone. Walking through Tar Prom doesn't feel sad. It feels magical, as if the forest spirits themselves are guarding the secrets of this ancient civilization. It's a beautiful demonstration of a partnership, rather than a battle, between human creation and the wild. Finally, we journey to the Americas, to the windswept plateaus of Colorado, to visit the cliff dwellings of Mesa Verde. For over 700 years, the ancestral Pueblo people thrived here, building intricate villages directly into the cliff faces. These weren't simple caves. They were complex architectural marvels, with hundreds of rooms and ceremonial kivas, all constructed from sandstone, mortar, and wooden beams. Imagine living in a community tucked into the side of a massive canyon, protected from the elements, and accessible only by hand and toe-hold trails. For generations, this was home. But then, around the year 1300, they left. The reasons are still debated by historians, perhaps a combination of prolonged drought, resource depletion, and social conflict. They moved south, leaving these incredible structures perfectly preserved in the dry, high-altitude air. When you stand in Mesa Verde today, looking out from the Cliff Palace, the largest cliff dwelling in North America, the silence is overwhelming. You're standing in someone's home, their town square, their sacred space. You can feel the presence of the people who lived here, their spirits lingering in the sun-baked stone. It's a poignant reminder that even great societies can be forced to move on, leaving behind silent monuments to their ingenuity and resilience. From the nuclear fallout of Pripyat to the diamond-hungry sands of Kolmanskop, from the concrete island of Hiroshima to the jungle temples of Angkor and the cliff palaces of Mesa Verde, these silent ruins tell a universal story. They speak of ambition, community, disaster, and change. They show us that nothing human-made is truly permanent, and that nature is always waiting to write the next chapter. These places are not just empty shells. They are profound storytellers, inviting us to listen to the lessons whispered by the past. They remind us of our own impermanence and the enduring, quiet power of the earth itself. We'll see you next time. Unseen ancient ruins of Earth. We all know about the pyramids of Giza, Stonehenge, and Machu Picchu. They're incredible, iconic, and have captured our imaginations for centuries. But what if I told you that our planet is hiding countless other ancient wonders, just as magnificent, but far less known? These are places that have slipped through the cracks of popular history, ruins that whisper stories of forgotten civilizations, waiting to be heard. Today, we're embarking on a journey off the beaten path. We're going to peel back the layers of time and dust to uncover 5 of the most breathtaking, unseen ancient ruins on Earth. So, buckle up, because you're about to see a side of history you never knew existed. Our first destination takes us deep into the jungles of Colombia, to a place known as La Ciudad Perdida, or the Lost City. Built by the Tairona civilization around 800 AD, it's actually 650 years older than Machu Picchu. Imagine this: a sprawling city of stone terraces, plazas, and a network of tiled roads carved right into the steep slopes of the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta Mountains. Reaching it is an adventure in itself, requiring a multi-day trek through dense, humid jungle. But the reward is unparalleled. As you emerge from the trees and climb the 1,200 stone steps to the main terraces, you're greeted by a breathtaking view of a city that was once a thriving political and manufacturing center, home to thousands. It was abandoned during the Spanish conquest and was only rediscovered in the 1970s. Standing there, surrounded by the sounds of the jungle, you can almost hear the echoes of a vibrant society lost to time. It's a powerful reminder that some of the greatest treasures are the hardest to find. Next, we journey from the mountains of South America to the vast plains of Africa, specifically to the nation of Sudan. While most people think of Egypt when they hear pyramids, Sudan is actually home to more pyramids than its northern neighbor. These are the pyramids of Meroe. They were the capital of the Kingdom of Kush, a major power in the ancient world. These pyramids are distinctly different from the Egyptian ones. They are smaller, with steeper sides and flat tops, built as tombs for the Kushite kings and queens. For over 900 years, Meroe was a bustling metropolis, a hub of trade and iron production. Walking among these hundreds of pyramids, set against the backdrop of the golden desert sand, is a surreal experience. You're not just seeing tombs, you're seeing the legacy of the Black Pharaohs, a powerful African dynasty that once even ruled Egypt itself. It's a part of history that's often overlooked, but the silent, majestic pyramids of Meroe stand as a testament to its grandeur. Now, let's travel to the remote Pacific island of Pohnpei in Micronesia, to a site that has been called the Venice of the Pacific. This is Nan Madol. It's an ancient city built on a series of small, artificial islands linked by a network of canals. Think about that for a second. Between the 8th and 17th centuries, an entire ceremonial and political center was constructed on a coral reef using massive basalt logs and coral boulders, some weighing up to 50 tons. How did they move these colossal stones without wheels or modern technology? It's a mystery that still baffles archaeologists. Nan Madol was the capital of the Sordiller dynasty, a powerful line of rulers. The ruins include remains of temples, tombs, and residential homes, all interconnected by water. Exploring Nan Madol by boat, gliding through the silent, water-filled streets of this ancient city, feels like entering another world. It's a feat of engineering so incredible. It has inspired countless legends and myths among the local people. It truly is one of the world's most enigmatic and awe-inspiring ruins. Our fourth stop takes us to the heart of the Indian subcontinent, to a place that looks like it belongs on another planet. Welcome to Hampi, in the state of Karnataka. Hampi was once the capital of the Vijayanagara Empire, one of the greatest empires in Indian history. In its heyday during the 15th and 16th centuries, it was one of the largest and wealthiest cities in the world, second only to Beijing. What's left today is a sprawling landscape of over 1,600 surviving remains. But this is not just any ruin site. The entire area is scattered with giant granite boulders, balanced precariously on top of each other, creating a truly otherworldly terrain. And nestled among these boulders are magnificent temples, with intricate carvings, royal enclosures, public baths, and bustling market streets. The famous stone chariot at the Vitala temple is an icon of Indian architecture. Exploring Hampi is like stepping into a fantasy epic. The scale is immense, and every corner reveals another wonder. It's a place where nature and human creation have merged into a stunning, unforgettable landscape. For our final unseen wonder, we head to the Lesser Caucasus Mountains in Armenia, to the monastery of Geghard. While it's not a city, its architectural brilliance is absolutely mind-blowing. The name Geghard means Monastery of the Spear, referring to the spear that was said to have wounded Jesus at the crucifixion, which was allegedly brought to Armenia and stored here. What makes Geghard so extraordinary is that much of the complex, the churches, chapels, and tombs, is not built, but carved directly out of the solid rock of the surrounding cliffs. Imagine walking into a vast chamber with towering columns and intricate decorative carvings, and realizing that the entire space was meticulously hollowed out of the mountain itself. The acoustics in these rock-hewn halls are phenomenal, and hearing the resonant chants of a choir inside is an experience that sends shivers down your spine. Founded in the 4th century, the main chapel was built in 1215. It is a masterpiece of medieval Armenian architecture and a testament to the incredible faith and skill of its creators. Tucked away in a dramatic gorge, Geghard is a place of profound peace and astounding artistry, truly a hidden gem of the ancient world. From the jungle-shrouded terraces of the lost city to the rock-hewn halls of Geghard, these incredible sights prove that history is so much bigger and more mysterious than we can imagine. They remind us that there are still so many stories buried beneath our feet, waiting to be rediscovered. These places might not have the fame of the Colosseum or the Great Wall, but they possess a unique magic, a sense of discovery that is truly special. They challenge our understanding of the past and inspire us to look beyond the familiar. Step into a world where stone whispers tales of ages past, where civilizations rise and fall, leaving behind silent monuments to their glory and demise. Today, we embark on an epic journey to explore the most enigmatic ruins scattered across our planet. Places that stand as defiant testaments to the relentless march of time. Our first stop takes us to the sun-drenched plains of Cambodia, to the heart of the once mighty Khmer Empire, Angkor Wat. Imagine It's the 12th century. A king, Suryavarman II, commands the construction of a temple so vast, so intricate, it's meant to be a microcosm of the Hindu universe. For over 30 years, thousands of artisans and laborers toiled, carving miles of bas-reliefs that depict epic myths and historical triumphs. As you walk its long causeways, surrounded by serene moats, you're not just in a temple, you're inside a stone-carved storybook. Look at how the banyan trees have reclaimed the walls of nearby Top Rome. Their roots like giant serpents, a powerful reminder that nature always has the final say. Angkor wasn't just a place of worship, it was the vibrant, beating heart of a sprawling metropolis, a beacon of culture and power in Southeast Asia. From the jungles of Cambodia, we journey across oceans to the arid deserts of Jordan, to a city hidden within a canyon of rose-red rock, Petra. The Nabateans, a nomadic Arab tribe, carved this marvel directly into the sandstone cliffs over 2,000 years ago. To enter, you must walk through the Sikh, a narrow, winding gorge that suddenly opens up to reveal the iconic treasury. Its Hellenistic facade, glowing in the desert sun, is a masterpiece of engineering and artistry. But Petra is more than just one building. It's a vast necropolis and a thriving trade hub on the ancient incense route. Imagine caravans of camels laden with frankincense, myrrh, and spices resting here. The Nabateans were masters of water management, creating a sophisticated system of channels and cisterns that allowed a bustling city to flourish in this unforgiving landscape. Petra is a breathtaking fusion of human ingenuity and natural wonder. Now, let's ascend into the clouds to the Andes Mountains of Peru, where the lost city of the Incas, Machu Picchu, lies perched on a mountain ridge. This citadel was built in the 15th century, likely as a royal estate for the Inca Emperor Pachacuti. Its genius lies in its harmony with the landscape, the stone structures, so precisely cut that no mortar was needed, seemed to grow organically from the mountain itself. Temples, plazas, and agricultural terraces cascade down the steep slopes, all aligned with astronomical events. Why was it abandoned just a century later? The true reason remains one of history's great mysteries. Standing here, with mist swirling around the peaks, you can feel the spiritual energy of the Inca civilization, a people who lived in profound connection with the earth and the stars. It's a place that truly feels suspended between heaven and earth. Our journey then takes us to the windswept Orkney Islands, off the northern coast of Scotland, to a site even older than Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids, Skara Brae. This isn't a grand temple or a royal palace, it's a prehistoric village, a Neolithic settlement remarkably preserved for over 5,000 years. Buried under sand dunes for millennia, it was uncovered by a storm in 1850. Walking through its covered passages, you can peer into stone houses complete with beds, dressers, and hearths. It offers an incredibly intimate glimpse into the daily lives of our Stone Age ancestors. What did they talk about around these fires? What stories did they tell? Skara Brae connects us not to kings or emperors, but to families, to a community that thrived in a harsh environment, reminding us of our shared, ancient human heritage. Next, we travel to the cradle of Western civilization, Greece, to stand in awe before the Parthenon in Athens, perched atop the Acropolis. This temple dedicated to the goddess Athena was the pinnacle of classical Greek architecture. Built in the 5th century BC, during the golden age of Athens under Pericles, it symbolizes the birth of democracy, philosophy, and art. Every column, every sculpture, was designed with mathematical precision to create an illusion of perfect harmony. Phidias, the master sculptor, oversaw the creation of its stunning friezes and statues. Though damaged by time, war, and pollution, the Parthenon's enduring grace still inspires awe. It stands not just as a ruin, but as a powerful symbol of human intellectual and artistic aspiration. A foundation stone of the modern world. Our final destination lies in the dense jungles of the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, the domain of the Maya civilization at Chichen Itza. The centerpiece is the towering step pyramid known as El Castillo. Twice a year, during the spring and fall equinoxes, a remarkable phenomenon occurs. The setting sun casts a shadow that creates the illusion of a feathered serpent. Slithering down the pyramid's northern staircase, this is Kukulkan, the serpent deity. This event demonstrates the Maya's sophisticated understanding of astronomy and mathematics. Chichen Itza was a major political and economic hub, featuring a great ball court, temples, and a sacred cenote, a natural well where offerings were made. It reveals a civilization deeply intertwined with cosmic cycles and spiritual beliefs. From the sacred mountains of Peru to the desert canyons of Jordan, these ruins are more than just piles of stone. They are portals to the past, filled with the echoes of lost languages, forgotten rituals, and the triumphs and struggles of humanity. They teach us about our capacity for greatness, our ingenuity, and our creativity. But they also serve as a humble reminder of our own impermanence, that even the mightiest empires eventually fade into memory. These stones hold stories, and if we listen closely, they have so much to tell us. Have you ever stood before an ancient ruin and felt a whisper from the past? A sense of a world so vast and complex, yet now silent, veiled by the mists of time. Today, we journey into the heart of these lost worlds, exploring the monumental legacies of civilizations that rose, flourished, and mysteriously vanished. Welcome to Veiled Monuments, Lost Civilizations of Our World. Our story begins not in a dusty library, but deep within the Cambodian jungle. For centuries, the magnificent temple complex of Angkor Wat stood as a testament to the Khmer Empire. But Angkor Wat was just the heart of a much larger body. Imagine a sprawling metropolis larger than modern-day Paris. A city of 1 million people with an ingenious network of canals and reservoirs. This was Angkor, the capital of an empire that dominated Southeast Asia for 600 years. Using advanced aerial laser scanning technology called LiDAR, archaeologists have peeled back the jungle's canopy to reveal the true scale of this incredible urban landscape. They found evidence of a highly sophisticated water management system that sustained its massive population and irrigated its rice fields. But this very system, the source of their strength, may have also been their undoing. A series of prolonged droughts followed by intense monsoons could have crippled their infrastructure, leading to famine, disease, and the eventual abandonment of their magnificent city. The Khmer people didn't disappear, but their great capital was reclaimed by the jungle, its story waiting centuries to be fully told. Now, let's journey across the Pacific to the sun-drenched coast of Peru. Long before the famous Inca Empire, another civilization carved its mark into the desert landscape, the Moqui. Flourishing from the 1st to the 8th century, the Moqui were master artisans and engineers. They built enormous adobe pyramids, called huacas, like the Huaca del Sol and Huaca de la Luna, which served as temples, palaces, and tombs. These weren't just piles of mud bricks. They were vibrant centers of ceremony and power, adorned with stunning murals depicting gods, warriors, and intricate rituals. The Moqui created some of the most realistic and expressive pottery in the ancient world, giving us a vivid glimpse into their daily life, their beliefs, and even their sense of humor. Yet, this thriving culture collapsed. What happened? Evidence points to a mega El Niño event, a period of extreme weather lasting for decades. 30 years of relentless rain and flooding, which would have eroded their adobe pyramids and destroyed their irrigation canals, were followed by a 30-year drought. This climatic catastrophe likely caused widespread famine and social upheaval, shattering the faith of the people in their rulers and their gods, leading to the abandonment of their monumental centers. From the deserts of Peru, we travel to the verdant shores of the Aegean Sea, to the island of Crete. Here, the Minoan civilization thrived, creating a legacy that would echo through Greek mythology for millennia. The Minoans, named after the legendary King Minos, were a Bronze Age powerhouse. They built sprawling, labyrinthine palaces like Knossos, decorated with breathtaking frescoes of leaping dolphins, graceful athletes, and mysterious goddesses. They were not a warlike people. Their cities lacked defensive walls, suggesting a period of immense peace and prosperity, secured by their powerful navy that controlled the sea trade. Their art speaks of a deep connection with nature and a vibrant ceremonial life. But around 1450 BC, this brilliant civilization suddenly declined. The culprit, a cataclysmic volcanic eruption on the nearby island of Thera, now known as Santorini. This was one of the largest eruptions in human history, unleashing massive tsunamis that would have devastated the Minoan fleet and coastal towns. The sky would have been dark for days with volcanic ash, poisoning crops and leading to widespread famine. While some centers survived for a time, the heart of the Minoan civilization was broken, leaving their beautiful palaces to fall into ruin, their script linearly still undeciphered to this day. Our next stop takes us to North America, to a place you might not expect to find a lost city, the Mississippi River Valley. Near modern-day St. Louis lies the incredible site of Cahokia. Around 1050 AD, this was the largest and most influential city north of Mexico, with a population that may have reached 20,000 people. Its inhabitants, known as the Mississippians, were sophisticated farmers and master builders. They constructed over 120 massive earthen mounds, the largest of which, Monk's Mound, is taller than a 10-story building and covers more area than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Imagine this city bustling with life, a great wooden stockade surrounding its central ceremonial precinct, with thatched roof houses stretching for miles. Cahokia was a center of trade, politics, and religion for the entire region. Yet, by 1350, this magnificent city was completely abandoned. The reasons are still debated. Was it overhunting and deforestation that led to environmental collapse? Was it disease, political conflict, or a changing climate? Perhaps a combination of all these factors. The people of Cahokia didn't vanish. They likely dispersed, and their descendants became the tribal nations encountered by later settlers. But their great urban experiment, this incredible American metropolis, was lost to memory. Its monumental mounds the only silent witnesses to its former glory. Finally, we venture into the arid landscapes of modern Turkey to uncover one of the world's oldest settlements, Göbekli Tepe. This site turns our understanding of human history on its head. Dated to over 11,500 years ago, Göbekli Tepe is older than Stonehenge, older than the pyramids, older even than the invention of pottery or agriculture. Here, hunter-gatherers, people we once thought were simple and nomadic, erected massive, T-shaped stone pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons. These pillars are ranged in circles and are intricately carved with images of animals like foxes, lions, snakes, and scorpions. This wasn't a city or a home. It appears to have been the world's first temple, a sacred gathering place. The sheer effort required to build it suggests an incredibly complex social structure and a deep, shared spiritual belief system we are only just beginning to understand. It raises a mind-blowing question. Did the need to build and maintain this sacred site actually spur the invention of agriculture and settled life, rather than the other way around? After about 1,500 years of use, for reasons we cannot fathom, the people who built Göbekli Tepe deliberately buried their entire monumental complex under tons of earth, preserving it perfectly for us to find 10 millennia later. It was veiled by its own creators, from Angkor's jungle-swallowed city to Cahokia's silent mounds, from the Moki's desert pyramids to the Minoan's sea-swept palaces, and Göbekli Tepe's intentionally buried temple. These veiled monuments tell a profound story. They remind us that civilizations, no matter how powerful or advanced, are fragile. They speak of human ingenuity, our drive to build and create, and our deep spiritual quest for meaning. But they also serve as a warning, a testament to the devastating power of climate change, resource depletion, and social strife. As we uncover their secrets, we are not just looking at the past. We are holding up a mirror to our own world, to the challenges we face today. The whispers from these lost worlds are not just echoes of what was, but lessons for what is yet to come. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through time. What lost civilization fascinates you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures into the mysteries of our world. Until next time, keep exploring. We're talking about ancient ruins so remote, so mysterious, that they challenge everything we thought we knew about our own history. These aren't the pyramids or the Colosseum. These are the forgotten cities and enigmatic structures that whisper tales of lost civilizations and forgotten technologies. So, grab your explorer's hat, because we're about to venture into the unknown. Our first stop takes us high into the Andes Mountains of Peru, to a place far more mysterious than Machu Picchu, Choqquequirao. Known as Machu Picchu's sacred sister, this sprawling Inca city is perched on a breathtaking ridge, accessible only by a grueling multi-day trek. Imagine, for a moment, arriving here after days of hiking and seeing these incredible stone terraces, temples, and residential buildings emerge from the clouds. What makes Choqquequirao so fascinating is that less than half of it has been excavated. The rest remains swallowed by the jungle, a sleeping giant holding its secrets close. Archaeologists believe it was a vital administrative and ceremonial center, possibly a royal estate for an Inca ruler. But why was it built in such an impossibly remote location? Was it a final refuge for the Inca during the Spanish conquest, or something else entirely? The silent stones of Choqquequirao don't give up their answers easily, leaving us to wonder what marvels still lie hidden beneath the dense Amazonian canopy. From the dizzying heights of the Andes, we now travel to the sun-scorched deserts of the Middle East, to the ancient city of Nabatea, better known as Petra. But we're not just looking at the famous treasury. We're going deeper to Little Petra, or Sick Al Barid, tucked away in a nearby canyon. This site was once a bustling suburb where traders on the Silk Road would rest and conduct business. What's truly mind-blowing here are the recently discovered frescoes. Hidden for 2,000 years under layers of soot and grime, these vibrant paintings depict birds, vines, and cherubic figures in a style heavily influenced by Greco-Roman art. Finding such detailed, Hellenistic-style artwork in the heart of a Nabatean city is astounding. It shows a level of cultural exchange and artistic sophistication far beyond what was previously understood. These paintings are a fragile, beautiful window into the daily life and cosmopolitan nature of the people who thrived in this desert metropolis. It makes you realize that Petra was not just a city carved from rock. It was a vibrant, multicultural hub of the ancient world. Now, let's plunge beneath the waves off the coast of Japan to the Yanaguni Monument. This is one of the most controversial underwater sites on the planet. Discovered by a diver in the 1980s, it's a massive rock formation that appears to have been carved with incredible precision. We're talking about huge, flat terraces, right-angled stone blocks, and what looks like a giant, tiered pyramid, all submerged about 80 feet underwater. Geologists argue that it's a natural formation, a product of seismic activity and erosion. But many others, including the diver who found it, are convinced it's man-made. They point to features that look like staircases, archways, and even animal carvings. If it is artificial, who built it and when? Geologists estimate the rock formation would have been above water over 10,000 years ago, predating even the Egyptian pyramids by millennia. Could a sophisticated, unknown civilization have existed during the last ice age? The Yanaguni Monument sits at the very edge of our accepted historical timeline, a silent, submerged enigma that could potentially rewrite the first chapters of human history. Let's return to dry land and journey to the remote jungles of Cambodia, far from the crowds of Angkor Wat. Here, shrouded in vegetation, lies the Pyramid Temple of Ko Ker. For a brief period in the 10th century, this was the capital of the entire Khmer Empire. At its heart is Prosit Tom, a stunning seven-tiered pyramid that rises 120 feet from the jungle floor. It looks more like a Mayan temple than a traditional Khmer structure. For centuries, Göbekli was almost inaccessible, surrounded by dense jungle and landmines. It's only in recent years that it's become safer to explore. The mystery is why the capital was moved here, to this remote location, for only a few decades before being moved back to Angkor. What political turmoil or religious vision prompted such a monumental undertaking? The site is littered with hundreds of ruined temples, many still unexcavated, their statues and carvings hinting at a unique and powerful period in Khmer history that we are only just beginning to understand. Göbekli is a haunting reminder of how quickly even the greatest empires can shift, and how their grandest monuments can be reclaimed by nature. Our next destination takes us to the windswept Orkney Islands, off the northern coast of Scotland. Older than Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids of Giza, we find the ness of Brodgar. This isn't just a few standing stones. It's a massive 5,000-year-old temple complex that is revolutionizing our understanding of Neolithic Britain. Imagine a sprawling site filled with huge, beautifully constructed stone buildings surrounded by a massive wall. These weren't simple huts. They were monumental structures with paved courtyards, decorated stone slabs, and even slate roofs, an incredible feat of engineering for its time. Archaeologists have found evidence of large-scale feasting, suggesting this was a major ceremonial center where people from all over Britain, and possibly Europe, gathered. Why here, on this remote island? What kind of society could organize and build on such a grand scale so long ago? The ness of Brodgar proves that our Stone Age ancestors were not primitive hunter-gatherers, but sophisticated people with a complex spiritual life and advanced construction skills. A fact that forces us to rethink the dawn of civilization in Europe. Finally, we head to a place that feels like it's from another world, the Ain Dara Temple in northern Syria. This Iron Age temple, dating back to around 1300 BC, shares so many striking similarities with the biblical description of King Solomon's temple that it's uncanny. As you approach, you're greeted by a pair of enormous three-toed footprints carved into the stone threshold. They're about 1 meter long. A second footprint is found further inside, and a third at the entrance to the main hall, as if a colossal god or goddess literally stepped inside the temple to inhabit it. The layout of porch, a main hall, and a shrine perfectly mirrors the description of Solomon's temple. The walls were likely lined with basalt blocks carved with lions, sphinxes, and other mythical creatures, while scholars debate the direct connection. The Ain Dara Temple provides an incredible real-world parallel to one of the most famous structures in religious history, which has never been found. It's a tangible link to the beliefs and architectural styles of the ancient Near East. A stone blueprint of a sacred space that has captivated imaginations for millennia. From sunken cities to jungle pyramids and desert frescoes, these hidden ruins are more than just piles of old stones. They are puzzles left behind by our ancestors. They challenge our timelines, question our assumptions, and ignite our imaginations. They prove that human history is far richer, more complex, and more mysterious than we can ever fully grasp. Have you ever walked past an old stone wall, a crumbling ruin, or even a single, solitary standing stone and wondered what stories it could tell? For most of us, they're just part of the landscape, silent and still. But what if I told you that beneath these stones lie secrets that could rewrite history? Secrets of lost civilizations, forgotten rituals, and ingenious technologies that challenge everything we thought we knew about our ancestors. Today, we're embarking on a journey to peel back the layers of Earth and time, to uncover the incredible secrets hidden right beneath our feet. Get ready, because what we're about to find will change the way you see the world forever. Let's start with one of the most famous stone structures on Earth, Stonehenge. We all know the iconic image, massive stones ranged in a mysterious circle. For centuries, the official story was that it was a simple calendar, a place for ancient druids to mark the solstices. But recent discoveries are telling a far more complex and fascinating story. Using ground-penetrating radar, archaeologists have found something incredible buried beneath the familiar circle. It's a massive complex of over 90 standing stones, some up to 15 feet tall, arranged in a huge C-shaped arc, now being called Superhenge. This wasn't just a calendar. It was a sprawling ceremonial landscape, a religious capital that dwarfed the original Stonehenge. And the most mind-boggling part? These stones were toppled and buried thousands of years ago, intentionally hidden. Why would our ancestors build such a colossal monument only to deliberately erase it from history? What were they trying to protect? Or perhaps, what were they trying to hide from? The mysteries don't stop in England. Let's travel to the other side of the world, to the remote highlands of Turkey, to a site called Göbekli Tepe. Picture this. It's 12,000 years ago. Humanity is supposedly made up of small bands of hunter-gatherers. We haven't invented pottery. We haven't domesticated animals, and we certainly haven't built cities. Yet, at Göbekli Tepe, we find massive, T-shaped stone pillars weighing up to 20 tons each, intricately carved with images of animals and symbols. These pillars are ranged in dozens of circular enclosures buried deep beneath a man-made hill. This site is 6,000 years older than Stonehenge. The sheer scale and complexity of Göbekli Tepe shatter our old timelines. It suggests that organized religion and large-scale communal projects might have come before settled agriculture, not the other way around. It seems our ancestors gathered not to farm, but to build, to worship, and to create something truly monumental. The big question remains, who were these people? How did they manage to quarry, transport, and erect these massive stones with what we assume were primitive tools? And just like at Superhenge, after 1,000 years of use, the entire site was deliberately and carefully buried. It's as if they were sealing a time capsule for us to find. Now, let's venture into the jungles of Central America, where ancient Mayan cities like Tikal and Caracol hold their own stony secrets. We see the towering pyramids and think we understand their purpose, tombs for kings, temples for gods. But new technology, called LiDAR, is allowing us to see through the dense jungle canopy. And what it's revealing is astonishing. Beneath the jungle floor, surrounding these famous pyramids, is a sprawling network of causeways, reservoirs, defensive walls, and agricultural terraces connecting what we thought were isolated cities into massive megalopolises. The population estimates have skyrocketed, suggesting a civilization far more vast and sophisticated than previously imagined. They didn't just build temples, they engineered their entire environment on an epic scale. But perhaps the most intriguing secret lies beneath the pyramids themselves. Researchers have discovered that many of these structures were built on top of natural caves and sinkholes, known as cenotes. To the Maya, these were sacred portals to the underworld. They weren't just building towards the heavens, they were anchoring their world to the sacred, watery depths below. It was a cosmic map, carved in stone, connecting the sky, the earth, and the underworld. From ancient superstructures to sacred underworld portals, the secrets beneath the stones are rewriting our past. But sometimes, the most profound secrets are hidden in the smallest details. Let's head to the coast of Brittany in France, to the Karnak alignments. Here, over 3,000 prehistoric standing stones, or menhirs, are arranged in perfect lines stretching for several miles. For years, people believed they were astronomical observatories or religious processional routes. But a recent theory suggests something entirely different and, frankly, more practical. By mapping the stones and the ancient sea levels, researchers have proposed that the Karnak alignments were actually a massive prehistoric earthquake detection system. The theory goes that the precise placement of these massive stones could have allowed ancient people to observe subtle seismic shifts and predict tsunamis, a vital skill for a coastal community. Could our ancestors have possessed a knowledge of geology and physics that we are only just beginning to appreciate? It's a radical idea, but it forces us to reconsider the purpose of these enigmatic stone rows. They weren't just for looking at the stars, they were for listening to the earth itself. So what connects all these incredible sites? From Stonehenge to Göbekli Tepe, from Mayan pyramids to the fields of Karnak, we see a recurring theme. Our ancestors possessed a profound understanding of engineering, astronomy, and the earth itself. They were not the simple, primitive people we often imagine. They were innovators, builders, and dreamers on a grand scale. And there's another, more mysterious connection: the act of deliberate burial. Why did so many of these ancient cultures invest unimaginable effort into building these wonders, only to later hide them from view? Was it to protect sacred knowledge, to mark the end of an era? Or was it an act of preservation, a message left for a future generation for us to find? Perhaps they knew that the stones themselves weren't the real treasure. The real treasure was the story, the knowledge, the secret. That could only be unlocked by those with the curiosity to look beneath the surface. The next time you see an ancient stone, remember that you're not just looking at a rock. You're looking at the cover of a book written 12,000 years ago. A book filled with secrets of who we are, where we came from, and the incredible, forgotten potential of the human spirit. The stones are silent, but if we learn how to listen, they have so much to tell us. The lost footprints of humanity. Have you ever stood on a beach, watched your footprints wash away, and wondered about the traces we leave behind? Not just in the sand, but in history. Today, we're embarking on a journey to find the lost footprints of humanity, exploring ancient civilizations that vanished leaving behind only whispers and enigmatic ruins. Our first stop takes us to the Indus Valley, to the sophisticated city of Mohenjo-Daro. Imagine a bustling metropolis over 4,000 years ago, with advanced urban planning, intricate drainage systems, and a mysterious script that we still can't decipher. The people here were master builders and traders, their influence stretching for hundreds of miles. But around 1900 BC, they simply disappeared. There are no signs of a great war, no evidence of a single catastrophic event. One of the world's earliest great urban cultures faded away, leaving their perfectly arranged streets silent. Was it climate change that dried up their life-giving river? A societal collapse from within? The clues are scattered, and the story of Mohenjo-Daro remains one of history's most profound unsolved mysteries. Their footprints are there, preserved in brick and pottery, but the people who made them are gone. From the river valleys of Pakistan, let's journey across the Pacific to the enigmatic Easter Island, or Rapa Nui. This is one of the most isolated inhabited places on Earth. Its landscape is dominated by nearly 900 colossal stone statues, the moai, silent guardians with their backs to the sea. These monolithic figures, some weighing up to 80 tons, were carved and transported by the Rapa Nui people, a feat of incredible engineering and devotion. But the society that accomplished this marvel met a tragic end. When Europeans arrived, they found a small, struggling population and a largely treeless island. The prevailing theory is one of ecocide. The islanders, in their zeal to build and transport the moai, may have cut down all their trees, leading to soil erosion, resource scarcity, and societal collapse. It's a cautionary tale, a footprint that warns us about the delicate balance between culture and nature. The moai stand as a testament to both human ingenuity and, perhaps, our capacity for self-destructs. Now, let's venture into the dense jungles of Central America, searching for the Maya. Unlike other lost civilizations, the Maya didn't just vanish. Their culture, language, and people are still vibrant today. What vanished were their magnificent classical cities, places like Tikal and Calakmul. Around the 9th century AD, these powerful city-states, which had flourished for centuries with their advanced understanding of astronomy, mathematics, and writing, were systematically abandoned. The grand pyramids and palaces were slowly swallowed by the jungle. Why would they leave such magnificent centers of power? Historians point to a combination of factors: prolonged drought, intense warfare between city-states, and political instability. It wasn't a single event, but a slow decline. A complex web of challenges that eventually became too much to bear. The Maya didn't disappear, they adapted. They left their great stone footprints behind and walked a new path, a powerful reminder that survival often means letting go. Our next destination takes us to the high Andes of South America, to the sprawling empire of the Inca. In just a century, they built the largest empire in pre-Columbian America, a marvel of organization and engineering, connected by an incredible network of roads. They had no written script as we know it, instead using a complex system of knotted cords called quipus to record information. Their society was a centrally planned marvel. Yet, this mighty empire fell with shocking speed. A combination of internal civil war and the arrival of a small band of Spanish conquistadors, armed with superior weapons and, more devastatingly, diseases like smallpox, brought the empire to its knees. The Inca footprints, etched into the mountain paths and stonework of Machu Picchu, tell a story of rapid ascent and even more rapid collapse. They show how vulnerable even the most powerful societies can be to unforeseen threats and internal division. Let's sail the Mediterranean to the legendary island of Crete, home to the Minoans. Named after the mythical king Minos, this Bronze Age civilization was a vibrant maritime power. Their palaces, like the one at Knossos, were not fortified castles but sprawling, colorful complexes with stunning frescoes depicting dolphins, griffins, and athletic bull-leaping rituals. They were traders, artists, and seemingly a peaceful people. Then, around 1450 BC, their civilization experienced a sudden and dramatic collapse. Many of their major sites were destroyed. The prime suspect is the cataclysmic volcanic eruption of Thera on the nearby island of Santorini. This event would have triggered massive tsunamis, earthquakes, and a volcanic winter that crippled their agriculture and trade. The footprint of the Minoans is one of artistic brilliance and prosperity, abruptly erased by the overwhelming force of nature, a humbling reminder of our place on this planet. Finally, we travel to the sands of the Sahara, to a time when it was not a desert, but a lush, green savanna. Here thrived the Garamontes, a powerful kingdom in what is now Libya. They were masters of the desert, engineering a sophisticated underground network of tunnels, called fogra, to tap into fossil water deep beneath the sand. This allowed them to build oasis cities and practice agriculture in an increasingly arid land. For over 1,000 years, they controlled trans-Saharan trade routes, but their lifeline was finite. Over centuries, they depleted the ancient aquifer their civilization depended on. The water ran out, the green lands turned to sand, and their cities were abandoned. The Garamontes footprint is a stark lesson in resource management. They were brilliant engineers who ultimately couldn't out-engineer a changing climate and a dwindling resource. From Mohenjo-Daro to the Garamontes, these lost footprints tell a universal story. These ancient civilizations are not just curious footnotes in history. They are mirrors. Their triumphs and their failures are lessons etched in stone and sand, echoes of challenges we still face today. By studying their lost footprints, we can perhaps learn to walk more wisely, ensuring that our own footprints lead to a future, not to a mystery. Whispers of ancient Earth, have you ever walked through a silent forest and felt a sense of timelessness, or stood on a windswept cliff, listening to the ocean, and felt a connection to something ancient and profound? These aren't just fleeting feelings. They are the whispers of ancient Earth, echoes of a history that stretches back not thousands, but billions of years. Today, we're going on a journey to listen to those whispers, to uncover the epic story our planet tells, a story written in stone, ice, and the very air we breathe. Imagine, if you will, a world you wouldn't recognize. 4.5 billion years ago, our Earth was a molten sphere of rock, a fiery, chaotic nursery bombarded by asteroids and comets. There was no blue sky, no gentle rain, only a toxic atmosphere and a landscape of endless volcanoes. This was the Hadean Aeon, Earth's hellish beginning. But even in this inferno, The seeds of our future were being sown. As the planet slowly began to cool, something miraculous happened. Water vapor in the atmosphere condensed and fell, not as a gentle shower, but as a torrential, planet-wide deluge that lasted for centuries. This great rainstorm filled the basins and craters, giving birth to the first oceans. It's in these primordial seas, a warm, chemical-rich soup, that the first whisper of life was heard. We don't know exactly how it began. Was it a lightning strike that zapped the right chemicals into forming self-replicating molecules? Did it start in the deep, dark ocean, clustered around hydrothermal vents spewing superheated, mineral-rich water? Whatever the spark, life ignited, simple, single-celled organisms. The ancestors of everything alive today emerged from the inanimate for billions of years. These tiny microbes were the sole inhabitants of Earth. They were our planet's pioneers, silently transforming it. One group of these ancient microbes, the cyanobacteria, would change everything. They developed a revolutionary new trick: photosynthesis. They learned to harness the power of the sun, and in doing so, they released a waste product, a gas that was, at the time, toxic to most other life forms. That gas was oxygen. Over hundreds of millions of years, these tiny organisms pumped trillions of tons of oxygen into the oceans and the atmosphere. This event, known as the Great Oxidation Event, was one of the most significant transformations in Earth's history. It created the ozone layer, protecting the surface from harmful solar radiation, and paved the way for more complex life to evolve. This was the Earth's first deep breath. With a new, oxygen-rich world, life exploded in diversity. About 540 million years ago, the Cambrian explosion saw the sudden appearance of almost all major animal groups we know today. Creatures with shells, skeletons, eyes, and legs filled the oceans. It was a biological Big Bang. The fossil record from this period, preserved in places like the Burgess Shale in Canada, reads like a catalogue of nature's wildest experiments. Trilobites scuttled across the seafloor, while strange predators like Anomalocaris, the abnormal shrimp, hunted with grasping claws. The whispers of ancient Earth were no longer just chemical reactions. They were the sounds of life in all its strange and wonderful forms. But the story of life is not just one of creation. It's also one of destruction and resilience. Our planet's history is punctuated by at least 5 major mass extinctions, events that wiped out the majority of species on Earth. The most devastating of all was the Great, dying at the end of the Permian period, 252 million years ago. Massive volcanic eruptions in what is now Siberia poured greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, causing runaway global warming and ocean acidification. Up to 96% of all marine species and 70% of terrestrial life vanished. It was the closest life ever came to being completely erased. Yet, from the ashes of this apocalypse, life endured. The whispers of Earth became a testament to survival. The few remaining species diversified, filling the empty world. This recovery set the stage for a new dynasty, the Age of Reptiles. For the next 180 million years, dinosaurs would rule the Earth, from the towering Argentinosaurus, the heaviest land animal ever, to the fearsome Tyrannosaurus rex. Their reign was long and absolute. They roamed every continent, adapting to every environment. Their fossilized footprints, bones, and even eggs are powerful whispers from this lost world, reminding us of the sheer scale and magnificence of life that once was. Then, 66 million years ago, the sky fell. An asteroid the size of a mountain, traveling at cosmic speeds, slammed into the planet near the Yucatan Peninsula in modern-day Mexico. The impact unleashed the energy of billions of atomic bombs. It triggered global earthquakes, continent-sized tsunamis, and sent a shroud of dust and debris into the atmosphere, blocking out the sun. The world was plunged into a long, dark winter. The dinosaurs, along with 75% of all species, disappeared. It was an abrupt and violent end to their era. But again, extinction created opportunity. With the great reptiles gone, a new group of animals, who had been living in the shadows for millions of years, could finally step into the light. These were the mammals, our distant ancestors. They were small, adaptable, and warm-blooded, traits that helped them survive the post-impact deep freeze. Over the next 66 million years, they diversified into the incredible array of mammals we see today. From bats that command the night sky to whales that plumb the ocean depths. And among them, a particularly clever branch of primates began a remarkable journey. In the savannas of Africa, our ancestors stood up. They walked on 2 legs, freeing their hands to make tools. Their brains grew larger. They learned to control fire, to communicate with complex language, to build communities. They looked at the stars and wondered. This is the story of us. Our species, Homo sapiens, is just the latest chapter in this immense geological and biological saga. We are a mere whisper in the grand chorus of Earth's history. When we look at the Grand Canyon, we see more than just a beautiful vista. We are looking at 2 billion years of Earth's history, layer upon layer of sedimentary rock, each one a page in our planet's diary. When we hold a fossil, we are holding a direct message from a world impossibly distant, a whisper from a life that preceded ours by millions of years. Even the salt in the ocean is a remnant of minerals washed from the continents over eons. The Earth is not a static stage for human drama. It is a living, breathing, dynamic system with a history of unimaginable depth and complexity. Its whispers are all around us, in the rock beneath our feet, the air we breathe, and the life with which we share this world. Have you ever stood in a vast, empty landscape and wondered what stories the land could tell? We all know the great empires Rome, Greece, Egypt. Their legacies are etched into our history books. But what about the civilizations that time forgot? The ones whose cities have been swallowed by jungles, whose languages have faded into whispers on the wind. Today, we're embarking on a journey into the shadows of history to uncover the incredible stories of civilizations that rose, flourished, and vanished, leaving behind only enigmatic echoes. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about the ancient world. Let's begin our journey in the heart of modern-day Turkey, a place you might know for its stunning coastlines and bustling cities. But beneath the surface lies a secret that rewrites the very origins of human civilization. Göbekli Tepe. Picture this. It's 12,000 years ago. Humanity is supposedly made up of small, nomadic hunter-gatherer tribes. Yet, Here, on a barren hilltop, these ancient people erected something extraordinary. We're talking about massive, T-shaped limestone pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons, intricately carved with reliefs of boars, foxes, lions, and vultures. This wasn't a settlement. Archaeologists have found no signs of houses or daily life. It was a temple, a sacred gathering place, built thousands of years before Stonehenge. Before the first pyramids of Egypt, for decades, we believed that agriculture led to settlement, which then allowed for complex religion and monumental architecture. Göbekli Tepe flips that theory on its head. It suggests that the profound, shared need to build something sacred, to come together for ritual, might have been the very catalyst that pushed humanity towards settled life. These hunter-gatherers may have developed farming simply to sustain the workforce needed to build and maintain this incredible sanctuary. It's a mind-bending revelation. Did faith, not food, build the first communities? Now, let's travel across the Atlantic to the coastal deserts of Peru. Long before the famous Inca Empire, another sophisticated culture thrived, known as the Nazca. You've probably heard of them because of one of the world's greatest mysteries, the Nazca lines. These are gigantic geoglyphs, enormous designs etched into the desert floor. We're not just talking about simple shapes. There are over 800 straight lines, some stretching for miles, alongside 300 geometric figures and 70 incredible depictions of animals like a hummingbird, a spider, a monkey, and a whale. These figures are so massive that they are only truly comprehensible from the sky. This has led to all sorts of wild theories, but the most accepted explanation is that they were created for their gods in the heavens. Imagine the precision and planning required. Without modern tools or aerial views, the Nazca people created these perfect, large-scale drawings. But the Nazca were more than just artists. They were ingenious engineers. In one of the driest places on Earth, they built a sophisticated system of underground aqueducts called puquios. These spiral-shaped wells tapped into subterranean water, allowing them to farm the desert and sustain their civilization for centuries. The Nazca lines were their message to the gods, while the puquios were their lifeline to the earth. From the deserts of Peru, we journey north into the lush, tropical lowlands of Mexico. Here, shrouded in the jungle, we find the legacy of the Olmec, often called the mother culture of Mesoamerica, flourishing between 1500 and 400 BC. They laid the groundwork for the later Maya and Aztec civilizations. Their most iconic and mysterious artifacts are the colossal heads. These are gigantic stone sculptures of human heads, carved from volcanic basalt. Each one is unique, depicting mature men with fleshy cheeks and powerful, slightly crossed eyes. The largest stands nearly 11 feet tall and weighs a staggering 50 tons. How did they do it? The nearest basalt quarries were over 90 miles away. They had to transport these multi-ton blocks through dense jungle and across rivers, all without the use of wheeled vehicles or beasts of burden. It's an incredible feat of logistics and manpower. These heads are believed to be portraits of powerful Olmec rulers, immortalized in stone. The Olmec also developed the first writing system in the Americas, and were early practitioners of the famous Mesoamerican ball game. Now, Let's sail across the vast Indian Ocean to a place of legend, the Indus Valley, in modern-day Pakistan and India. Here, around 2500 BC, the Indus Valley civilization, also known as the Harappan civilization, emerged. This was one of the three earliest civilizations of the Old World, alongside Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt, and it was by far the largest, spanning an area of over 1 million square kilometers. Their cities, like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, were marvels of urban planning. They had grid-like street patterns, advanced drainage and sewer systems, and multi-story houses built from uniform, baked bricks. This level of standardization suggests a powerful, centralized authority. But here's the puzzle. Despite their sophistication, we know so little about them. We've found thousands of artifacts with their script, a complex system of symbols, but no one has been able to decipher it. We haven't found any grand palaces, royal tombs, or monumental temples like those in Egypt or Mesopotamia. Their society seems almost egalitarian, focused on trade and craftsmanship rather than kings and conquests. Then, around 1800 BC, they began to decline. Their cities were abandoned. Was it climate change that shifted the monsoon patterns and dried up their rivers? Was it invasion, disease? Without a Rosetta Stone for their language, the Harappans remain one of history's most profound enigmas, a sprawling, advanced civilization that left behind pristine cities, but no clear story. Finally, we venture to the remote Pacific, to one of the most isolated places on Earth, Easter Island, or Rapa Nui. The island is famous for its nearly 1,000 monolithic human figures, the moai, carved from volcanic tuff. These statues, with their oversized heads and solemn expressions, gaze inland, believed to represent deified ancestors who watched over the island's inhabitants. The creation and transport of these statues represent a monumental effort for a small, isolated population. The largest moai ever erected was 33 feet tall and weighed 82 tons. Another, left unfinished in the quarry, would have been 70 feet tall and weighed 270 tons. The story of Rapa Nui is often told as a cautionary tale. It's believed the islanders, driven by clan rivalry and devotion to their ancestors, depleted their resources, cutting down all the palm trees to transport the moai. This led to soil erosion, starvation, and the collapse of their society. However, recent research suggests the story is more complex. With the arrival of Europeans and the diseases they brought playing a much larger role in the population's collapse than previously thought. The true story of Rapa Nui is still being debated, a powerful reminder of human ingenuity, devotion, and the fragile balance between culture and environment. From the temples of Göbekli Tepe to the heads of Rapa Nui, these forgotten civilizations offer us a profound sense of humility and wonder. They remind us that our modern world is built upon layers of forgotten stories, of incredible achievements and mysterious collapses. History is not a straight line, but a complex web of rises and falls, of echoes and whispers. These cultures challenge our assumptions and expand our understanding of what it means to be human. They prove that ingenuity, faith, and the drive to create are timeless currents that have flowed through humanity for millennia.